I have Bushra making a snowflake for me. Might seem kind of random because it's such a sunny day, but I'm going to explain to you why I'm having to make a snowflake. Are you done? Huh? Are you done with the snowflake?
Oh, yes, sister.
Do you want to make a snowflake?
Just adding some final.
Okay, so let's open this beauty up. Now we have this snowflake, right? And so looking at the snowflake, we're going to be talking about a really interesting topic to begin. It's called randomness. Does anyone know what randomness means?
Random means like you threw a grass, right? Whoever played a card game before, raise your hand. If you play a card game, if you crash the cones, it seems like, before when I was playing a card game, right? He told me that I crashing the cone, right? And then he told me that you're
the cone's going all over the place, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so randomness means things just flying all over the place without any reason or place to go. Do you get that?
It just happens.
Yeah, it just happens for no reason, right? So sometimes a lot of people will tell you that snowflakes, the pattern that you see, will happen for no reason, right? But if I ask Bushra, did your hand move for no reason?
No.
How did it move?
I controlled it.
You controlled it, right? So a lot of people will tell you that things happen for no reason. But we know as Muslims that every single little thing in this universe happens for a specific reason. And we can even compare it to the ayahs in the Quran, right? We can even compare it to the ayahs in the Quran. Every single ayah in the Quran has a specific meaning, down to the very letter, down to the very dot. Isn't that so interesting?
Yeah.
Okay, so today we're going to be talking about a really interesting surah that has a lot of meaning. It's a very tiny surah, but it's packed with so much meaning. And the surah is Surat Al Asr. Okay? Can anyone recite it for me? Nushrat.
Okay, let's recite it together.
Yeah, recite it together.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim.
Wal Asr. Innal insana lafi khusr. إلا الذين آمنوا وعملوا الصالحات وتواصوا بالحق وتواصوا بالصبر.
Okay, so let's break down the surah ayah by ayah. Now, the first ayah is Wal Asr, right? So let's start with the first letter, wow, right? What common word do we always say? Wallah, right? Whenever we want to, like if someone accuses us of lying, we say, Wallah, I'm not lying. Or if someone thinks we stole something from them, we say, and we didn't, we say, Wallah, I didn't steal it. So that's a word we're always throwing around, and sometimes we don't recognize the importance of it. Here in the first ayah, Allah is swearing, right? Allah is swearing by this right here. What is this word?
Wal Asr.
Al Asr. Allah is swearing by Al Asr. And does anyone know what Al Asr means? Time, right? So Allah is swearing by this time. But it's so interesting because there are so many different words for time. There's waqt, which means measured time, like in hours or seconds. There's zaman, which is extended time. There's lahta, which is the moment. And then there's dahar, which is like immortal time, like God's time.
Yeah.
But what's interesting here is Allah is using this word for a very specific reason. Remember we were talking about things being very specific and not random, right? So Allah is using this word for a very specific reason. And I'm going to explain it very, very quickly. So the word is Asr, right? Which means time, okay? But we can find a deeper meaning to this. Here's another word that has the same letters, or similar letters. Asid. Does anyone know what asid means? Juice, right? So can anyone guess a meaning related to time with juice? It might seem really, really random, but it's not. No?
I can guess.
Not you? Okay, let's go to a different word. So we already know this means juice, right? Let's look at this word. No, wait, let me ask you a question. How do you make juice? Here's an orange. How do you make juice?
Okay, this is how you squeeze the juice. First, you take the fruit called orange, and then you squeeze it.
You squeeze it. Keyword. Ding, ding, ding. There you go. What's this? What's the key word?
Squeeze.
Squeeze. Does anyone know how to say squeeze in Arabic? Majid? No? Okay. Asara, right? Asara? Is that right? So, the Arabic word for squeeze is asi. So do you get it? You get it? Just like how you put pressure on the orange when you squeeze it to get the juice, time is putting pressure on us Do you understand? Time is putting pressure on us to either do good things or to do bad things. Do you understand? Okay. So there's a deeper meaning to every single ayah in the Quran. It doesn't just mean Allah is swearing by time. Allah is swearing by the time that is putting pressure on us to do either good or to do bad. Let's move on to the next ayah. The next ayah is, Ifan? Nishat, what does it mean? Indeed, mankind is in loss. Okay, so here Allah is saying that basically all of humanity, all of the people are in loss. Allah's not just saying that you lose one thing or two things, right? Or like you lose your PS3 or you lose your keys to your house. Allah is saying that you're in a state of loss. Everything around you is lost. So imagine if I took an ant, right? Imagine if I took an ant and I put it in a glass jar and I closed the glass jar. The ant doesn't have its family, it doesn't have any food, it doesn't have any water or leaves or anything to chew on, right? It has nothing. Everything around it is lost. So that's how Allah is comparing us to right in this ayah. He's saying all of us are in this state of loss where everything around us, there's nothing for us to have. Do you understand? Okay. So Allah uses right here, al-insan. This is a plural word. Do you know what plural means? Yeah. Plural? Yes, Majid? More than one, right? So it's interesting that Allah is using the plural word. So basically here Allah is saying that humanity is in a state of loss. Even if you're in a group, if you don't worship Allah, even if you're in a group, you're going to feel alone. Do you understand? The next ayah is Sabir, can you read it for us? Okay, Bushra, what does it mean?
Except for those who have believed and done righteous deeds and advised each other to truth and advised each other to patience.
Okay, so this ayah, so basically Allah is outlining, or Allah is saying that all of humanity is at loss, except those who follow these certain things. So Allah is basically giving us a prescription. Does everyone know what a prescription is?
Yes.
I think a prescription means when you go to the doctor, and when you're not feeling well, and you ask the doctor, "Oh doctor, my stomach's hurting me. Can you please help me or give me a medicine?" So he takes a notepad,
pull out that
gets a pen, pulls out that paper, and writes it.
Yeah, so that paper is the prescription where the medicine that can help you is written on. So similarly, in this ayah, Allah is giving us the prescription to help us get out of loss, to help us get out of this state of loss. Four main parts in the prescription. The first is belief, believing in Allah, right? The second is acting upon your belief. Understand? Through like good deeds, through good service. The third is, and those two things that I just mentioned, you can do those two things as a person, as just an individual. The third is coming together in truth, and the fourth is coming together in patience. So the last two you need to do as an ummah, as like a group of people. You can't do it alone. So those are the four things that you can do to get out of this state of loss. And Allah is saying, if you do those four things, even if you're one person, you won't feel like one person because you'll be with God. You'll feel like a group of people. You understand? So even if you're one person, if you're with God, you'll never feel like just one person. You'll feel like you're in a group. Understand? So, now that we're done understanding just a little bit, just a speck of the depth of the surah, I'm going to ask you guys a few questions. So Ifan, what does Wal Asr mean?
Wal Asr means the time that squeezes us.
The time that squeezes us. The time, Allah is swearing by the time that puts pressure on us, right? Okay, next question. Majeen, what are the four things that we need to do to get out of loss?
I can help her out.
You can help her out? Go ahead.
Okay, so the first one, and I'll say it and we'll go on. The first one is belief. Now the second one is you can't just sit there believing. You got to do something, act on it.
And then the third one is coming together in truth. And then the fourth one is coming together in patience.
That's what my name means. Talk loud.
So what we can conclude is that nothing in this life is random, right? Even this snowflake right here, the patterns in it, they may seem like they were just sporadically placed, but something so beautiful can in no way be random. Someone had to have created it. So we can look at this snowflake and we can reflect upon its perfection, but we can also reflect upon the Quran's perfection, the signs that we have in it, and we can understand the depth of them. So thank you for coming here and learning with me. Your job now is to go and teach your friends and your family. Okay?
Assalamu